Dee Snider, recently spoke to the New Orleans radio station, Bayou 95.7, about his involvement in the America's Deadliest Concert. The Guest List, a documentary about the infamous Great White Concert fire nearly 2 decades ago that killed 100 people and injured hundreds more. The film premiered on Reels on Sunday, February 20th, to coincide with the event's 19th anniversary. Snider, who was interviewed for the film, said,
And, this is hard to remember and listen to, but 100 people burned to death. Over 200 were injured, and 65 kids lost one or both parents in a fire in a nightclub. Great White was playing, and Great White, they were vilified. It was their pyro that ignited the building, and wrong or right, they've been shouldering the blame for a long time. One of the things I like about this documentary is it's very well-rounded, and it actually allows Jack Russell to speak because, if you remember Jack back when, and we toured together back in the heyday, and now he's a broken man, and people may say, and rightfully so, but let me just say, was it stupid? Was it foolish to set off pyro in a small club? Yes. Was it malicious? Not in your life. They would never, ever intentionally hurt any of their fans. This struck a chord when it happened in so many ways. I had post-Twisted Sister, gone from the arenas to the bars, just like Great White had, and I had played the Station nightclub. The DJ, who was called Dr. Metal, he was this kid, and what he did with my show is what he did with Great White. He introduced me and then jumped off the front of the stage into the front of the audience and rocked out because he was that local guy, that fan, and he perished in the fire. There was so many people. To think that those same people who came to see me were probably at that Great White show as well. So it just struck so many chords, and I got very involved in a concert event to help those people. Troy Laquetta from Tesla, myself, more than the money we raised that night, it was a deadlock with the lawyers and the courts and the insurance companies for a decade. And because of the attention we brought to the plight of these people, $175 million finally went through to help these people. But the truth of the matter is, the scars literally and figuratively remain for that community. It's very tough. And it's called The Guest List because Jack had been in town at a tattoo parlor getting a tattoo and met a bunch of fans and put them on his personal guest list. The greatest honor ever to have a lead singer of a band put you on their guest list. And in the documentary, their family's talking about how their brothers, their sisters, their wives, their friends called and said, "I met Jack Russell, he put me on the list."
Yeah.
Well, Jack put him on a list that turns into a death list.
Yeah.
You see those names and then died. So, it's an awful, awful remembrance. But certainly, Jack was doing something nice for her fans. It turned into an awful tragedy.
This past December, Russell told Tulsa Music Stream about the documentary.
It was shot. We took 3 years shooting this thing. It was a long time. A lot of footage, and I could have my whole biography done with just what's on the cutting room floor. But it's really moving. I haven't seen the finished product yet. I've just seen the trailer. But it is really moving, touching, and it's a beautifully shot piece of film. It lets you know how beautiful music is and how music can heal everything, no matter what people think. There's a certain thing in music that is, as I said, very healing, and it's helped a lot of people through the aftermath of the fire.
Russell also said that he wanted the tragedy to serve as a reminder to remain alert about public safety.
Honestly, people, I haven't been asked a question about the fire in, I can't remember how many years now.
It's good.
Been a long, long time. The public has a short memory, unfortunately. That was something I hope that people would remember, just because of the nature of it and the fact that we need to to take care of ourselves when we're out at places. You know, we need to be conscious of our safety.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
4 years ago, Russell told Psychobabble TV about the upcoming documentary, which is tentatively titled The Guest List.
And what it is partly my life story as a kid growing up, and then it goes off into the fire, unfortunately, and the aftermath of that, and, you know, testimonies, and not testimony, but, you know, talks by the victims and their families and how it affected them, and you know, not all of it's easy to watch for me,
right?
I would because a lot of people blame me. I wouldn't say a lot, but they're very vocal,
right,
you
which
know?
is insane.
And well, you know, I look at it like this. You know, if it makes it easier for them to grieve the loss of somebody close to them, then my shoulders are big enough.
Okay.
You know, I mean, this could have happened. I've seen so many videotapes of pyro shooting off in that club with the foam and bigger stuff than we had, and it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Why it happened that night, who knows?
Right.
You know, I mean, it's like a plane crash. It takes all these little things to fall in line for that one big thing to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So it gave me the opportunity to talk about how I felt, you know, and for me to apologize, you know, not because, not a guilty apology, but because I mean, I feel horrible that happened. I lost a lot of friends that night. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of friends.
Yeah.
People that I didn't even know were even there, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, people have said, well, he's not remorseful, and they got to understand that, you know, when all this went down, my legal team, they said, you cannot ever say you're sorry.
Right.
Because it implies guilt. I'm
Right.
like, but I am sorry. You can't say it. The one thing that I found was really beautiful, and out of all this tragedy, there was a man named Joe, and they call him the Lizard Man. He was the worst, the most badly burned of all the people, and he met his wife through the fire, and they had a beautiful son. And his comment was like, you know, if this wouldn't have happened, that wouldn't have meant the love of my life. You know?
Oh man.
You know, it's really well done. The guy he's done Disney movies, and he's actually from that town.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to be really, you know, unbiased, you know,
Right,
which
right,
he really was. He
right.
just told it, and it's really, really informative, and it delves into people's lives, and you know, I have to see it. I'm glad it was made. You know, it may not be the best thing in the world for me, but it's very cathartic. This is why I've told my story. You know, my whole life I've been very open about my life and about the things I've done, good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being was, you know, I hope that people can listen to my story and either not make the same mistakes or realize that if they do, that you can always turn yourself around.
Yeah.
You know, you can always say, you know what, this isn't the path I want to be on, and you can change that path. You know, so there is no hopelessness. There is no excuse for not living out your dreams. If you're not living your dreams, it's because you're not trying. You know.
Thank you for tuning in, and please hit that like button, it's appreciated. Make sure that you subscribe for more rock-related content.